Before we go any further, allow yourself a question you may have avoided your entire life. Right now, where is your problem? Not the story you've repeated for years, not the memory that keeps returning every time you're alone, not the fear of tomorrow or the regret of yesterday. Now, can you actually find it? Could you point to it without recalling a single thought? Could you touch it the way you touch cold stone or running water? Does it possess a shape of its own, a weight, a color, a place in the world? Or does it vanish the moment your mind stops searching for it? That may sound absurd at first. After all, we've been taught that our problems are as solid as the ground beneath our feet. Yet have you ever noticed that psychological suffering cannot survive on its own? It constantly depends on memory replaying what has already ended, or imagination rehearsing what has not yet arrived. The mind is strangely devoted to unfinished conversations. It collects fragments of the past, projects them into the future, then quietly calls the result reality. Years can pass while someone fights an enemy that has never existed anywhere except within thought itself. Jiddu Krishnamurti expressed this with unsettling simplicity. The observer is the observed. If that is true, who exactly is the one claiming to have a problem? Is there truly someone separate from fear, grief, loneliness, or anxiety? Or is there only thought observing another thought, creating the illusion of distance where none ever existed? Don't believe these words because they sound profound. Don't reject them because they threaten everything you've assumed about yourself. Simply observe. Notice what remains before the next memory returns, before your name appears, before your history rebuilds itself, before your mind reminds you of everything it says you have lost, everything it says you still need, everything it insists must be fixed before peace can finally begin. What is here before any of that? Perhaps this is where something unsettling begins. Not another philosophy, not another method, not another promise that life will become easier. Something far more disturbing. The possibility that problems do not exist in the way you've always imagined. Events exist, loss exists, illness exists, death exists. None of these can be honestly denied. Yet the psychological world built around them may be something entirely different. A vast architecture constructed from memory, anticipation, resistance, and endless interpretation. A prison made from thought, maintained by thought, and mistaken for reality simply because it has been inhabited for so long. If there is any value in the next few minutes, it won't come from giving you another solution. It may come from revealing that the one desperately searching for solutions has been chasing shadows all along. There is a moment so subtle that almost no one notices it. A moment when reality ends and interpretation begins. Everything that follows is built upon that invisible crossing. Ask yourself something and resist the temptation to answer too quickly. Who would you be if, for just a single moment, no memory could be recalled? Not your name, not your childhood, not your achievements, not your failures, not the face you see in the mirror every morning. Who would remain? Stay with the question. Don't imagine an answer. Imagination is still thought wearing a different mask. Simply observe what happens when the mind reaches for an identity and finds nothing to hold. Jiddu Krishnamurti spent his life inviting people into this silent investigation. He never asked anyone to adopt another belief. If anything, he questioned the very mechanism that creates beliefs. Freedom lies in the observation without choice. Read those words again. Without choice. The instant we choose, we divide reality. One experience becomes desirable, another unbearable. One memory is preserved like a treasure. Another is buried as though forgetting could erase what happened. Gradually, we stop seeing life itself. We only see our judgments about life. Reality has no opinion about itself. It simply unfolds, A father receives a phone call in the middle of the night. His daughter has died in an accident. For one immeasurable instant, there is only silence. A silence so complete that language cannot enter it. Then thought awakens. This shouldn't have happened. What if I had convinced her to stay home? I failed. In a matter of seconds, one tragedy becomes hundreds. The mind begins constructing alternate histories, impossible futures, imaginary conversations, endless trials in which no verdict can ever change what has already occurred. The event is real. The psychological world surrounding it is continuously manufactured. The same pattern appears everywhere. A man loses the fortune he spent 40 years building. The money disappears in a single afternoon. That fact belongs to reality. Then another sentence quietly appears. My life is over. Look carefully. That is not a fact. It is a prediction disguised as certainty. A woman hears the words every human being secretly fears. You have cancer. The diagnosis exists in the present, yet within moments the mind has traveled years ahead. It imagines hospitals, funerals, abandonment, unfinished dreams, faces that may never exist outside imagination. It suffers countless futures before even one of them has the opportunity to arrive. Thought has an extraordinary ability. It stretches a single moment across decades. It transforms uncertainty into memory before life has even decided what comes next. Krishnamurti once said, "It is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society." Perhaps no illness is more common than believing every thought deserves to be believed. We inherit this habit so early that questioning it feels almost impossible. From childhood, we are taught to trust the voice in our heads more than the silence beneath it. That voice comments on everything. It compares. It judges. It predicts. It condemns. It remembers. It worries. It never truly stops. And because it never stops, we mistake its continuity for truth. Yet thought has no obligation to reality. It simply follows the momentum of the thought before it, like echoes repeating inside an empty canyon, long after the original sound has disappeared. Maybe that is why human beings carry invisible burdens that no one else can see. Not because life is always unbearable. Life contains loss, illness, aging, disappointment, separation, and death. These are undeniable. The burden comes from carrying each event long after it has already passed, feeding it with memory until it grows larger than the life unfolding in front of us. Perhaps what we call my life is, to a surprising degree, a conversation thought has been having with itself for years. A conversation repeated so many times that we eventually stopped recognizing it as a conversation. We began calling it reality. And if that possibility is true, then an unsettling question naturally follows. Who is the one believing every word that thought has to say? Perhaps the last question is still lingering in your mind. Who is the one believing every thought? Be careful before answering. Whatever appears first is likely to be another thought trying to explain itself. Instead, look. When you say, I, what are you actually referring to? Your body? The body has never remained the same. Nearly every cell that once carried your childhood has disappeared. The face in old photographs belongs to someone who no longer physically exists. Your personality? That changes too. You speak differently depending on who is standing in front of you. Your opinions evolve. Your desires shift. The person you were 10 years ago would barely recognize the one reading these words now. Your memories? Even they cannot be trusted. Every time you remember something, your mind quietly rewrites it. Memory is less like opening a book and more like painting over an old canvas, adding new colors while convincing yourself nothing has changed. So what remains? What has never changed? Or perhaps, who has never been found. This is where Robert Adams directed his students again and again, not toward another philosophy, but toward an honest investigation. Be still. The self will take care of everything. Most people misunderstand those words. They hear surrender and imagine passivity. They hear acceptance and assume resignation. That was never the point. Robert Adams wasn't suggesting that life would suddenly become painless. Bodies would still age. Loved ones would still disappear. Time would continue erasing everything it touches. The invitation was far stranger. He was asking a simple question. Who is carrying all of this? Notice something extraordinary. Your heart has never waited for your permission to beat. Your lungs continue breathing while you sleep. The sun rises without consulting your plans. Galaxies collide in complete silence, never asking humanity whether the timing is convenient. Existence has always unfolded without seeking approval from the person you believe yourself to be. Yet somehow, the mind assumes responsibility for everything. It behaves as though anxiety were holding the universe together, as though worrying could postpone death, as though fear could negotiate with time, as though endless thinking were secretly protecting us from the inevitable. Look at your own experience. How many nights have been sacrificed trying to solve tomorrow before tomorrow even existed? How many conversations have been rehearsed with people who never spoke those words? How many arguments have taken place entirely inside your imagination? How many disasters have your thoughts survived that reality never produced? The mind calls this preparation. Life often reveals it as exhaustion. Robert Adams would often say, "Nothing has to be changed." At first, those words can feel almost offensive. What about injustice? What about illness? What about grief? What about death? He wasn't denying any of them. He was pointing towards something almost impossible to notice. There is an immense difference between responding to life when action is needed and living under the psychological burden of believing you are personally responsible for controlling what has never been yours to control. The character spends its entire existence trying to preserve itself, protect its image, defend its beliefs, secure its future, escape its past. And still, nothing it protects remains. Reputations disappear, possessions decay, relationships transform, bodies weaken. Entire civilizations rise, flourish, and vanish into dust. The universe has never promised permanence. Only thought continues demanding it. Perhaps this is why Robert Adams also said, "You have never been the person you think you are." Don't treat that as an inspiring quote. Treat it as a mirror, without your name, without your profession, without your successes, without your failures, without everything memory has collected over a lifetime. Who is left? Don't answer too quickly. Perhaps the one searching for an answer is itself another story, another identity assembled from memory, another voice claiming ownership over a life that was already unfolding long before it learned to say the word I. And if that is true, perhaps the one who has spent years insisting, "These are my problems," was never anything more than a narrative convincing itself that it had become a person. If the one who suffers cannot be found, another question quietly emerges. Why does existence continue with such effortless precision, whether we are anxious or at peace? The stars have never waited for human certainty before appearing in the night sky. Winter never apologizes for arriving. The ocean never mourns the waves that dissolve upon the shore. Everything moves according to a rhythm that existed long before our first thought, and it will continue long after our last. Perhaps this is what makes reality so unsettling. The universe has never paused to negotiate with our preferences. It does not distinguish between the prayers of a king and the silence of a beggar. A mountain does not become smaller because someone curses its height. Time does not slow because a mother begs for one more day with her child. The seasons do not change direction because humanity finds change unbearable. Existence simply unfolds. Only the human mind insists that every event should have happened differently. Wei Wu Wei expressed this with remarkable clarity. Why are you unhappy? Because 99.9% of everything you think is about yourself? And there is no such self. Stay with those words for a moment. Nearly every thought revolves around a center that is constantly trying to preserve itself. What will happen to me? Why did this happen to me? What will people think of me? What have I lost? What do I still need before I can finally be at peace? It is as though an imaginary character has become the protagonist of the entire universe. Yet the universe has never recognized that character. The forest continues growing without asking who owns it. Birds migrate without carrying identities. A river never resists becoming another river as it flows. Clouds never attempt to remain clouds forever. Everything in nature participates in impermanence without calling it a tragedy. Only human thought transforms change into personal injustice. Look carefully. Death is natural. Aging is natural. Separation is natural. Decay is natural. Every civilization that once believed itself permanent eventually became ruins beneath the feet of strangers. Every empire collapsed. Every language evolved. Every face disappeared. Every generation believed it was living through unprecedented uncertainty, only to become another forgotten chapter in history. Reality has never hidden this from us. The evidence surrounds us constantly. Autumn does not pretend to be spring. The night never promises that dawn will never end. The body quietly reminds us every year that nothing physical was meant to stay. Still, thought demands permanence from a universe built upon transformation. And when reality refuses that impossible demand, the mind calls the result suffering. Wei Wu Wei also wrote, "Nothing ever happens to a person. There is no person for anything to happen to." This is not an invitation to deny grief. Grief is real. Loss is real. Love is real. The ache of watching someone disappear from your life cannot be dismissed with philosophy. The invitation is subtler. Where exactly is the separate individual standing outside existence, receiving all these experiences as personal attacks? Can such a boundary actually be found? Or has thought simply drawn invisible lines across something that was never divided? Perhaps the wind passing through a forest does not belong to any single tree. Perhaps consciousness moves through countless lives without ever becoming confined to one identity. Perhaps what we call my life is only a temporary shape taken by something immeasurably older than memory itself. If that possibility is true, then maybe the deepest misunderstanding was never believing that life contains suffering. It was believing that existence is happening to someone separate from itself. And if there has never been such a separation, then one final question begins to emerge from the silence. Before this imagined self appeared, what were you? By now, perhaps you've noticed that every step of this journey has removed something you once believed was unquestionably real. First, we questioned the reality of psychological problems. Then we looked for the one who claims ownership of them and found only memories, thoughts, and identities constantly replacing one another. After that, we stepped back and saw a universe that has never divided existence into success and failure, fairness and injustice, gain and loss. Those are human measurements. The stars have never used them. Now only one question remains. Perhaps the oldest question a human being can ask. Before your first memory, who were you? Not before your birth as an event in time. Before your entire psychological world came into existence. Before someone gave you a name. Before you learned to say mine. Before fear taught you to protect an image. Before desire convinced you that fulfillment was always somewhere else. What was here? Do not search your memory. Memory cannot reach that far. Thought can only travel through what it has already recorded. It cannot return to what existed before the recorder itself appeared. Nisargadatta Maharaj returned to this mystery throughout his life, not as a philosophy, but as a direct invitation. Wisdom is knowing I am nothing. Love is knowing I am everything. Between the two, my life flows. Those words are easy to admire. They are far more difficult to contemplate. The mind spends its entire existence trying to become someone. Someone respected, someone remembered, someone successful, someone impossible to ignore. It is terrified of becoming nothing. Yet every year quietly dismantles that ambition. Time removes beauty. It removes strength. It removes certainty. Eventually, it even removes the people who spent decades confirming who we believed ourselves to be. There is something almost merciless about reality. Everything the personality depends upon is temporary. Every role eventually ends. The devoted parent becomes the grieving parent. The ambitious young adult becomes the aging body looking back with unanswered questions. The child who once believed adults understood life eventually becomes an adult pretending to understand it for someone else. Nothing remains untouched. And perhaps that is precisely why we suffer. Not because impermanence is cruel. Impermanence has never hidden itself. Every sunrise announces that it will become night. Every flower carries the certainty of its own decay. Every breath disappears the moment it is taken. The tragedy is that thought keeps demanding permanence from a universe that has never offered it. Nisargadatta pointed somewhere entirely different. He wasn't asking you to preserve what changes. He was asking you to notice what has never changed. Close your eyes for a moment if you wish. Do not search for visions. Do not expect peace. Do not wait for some mystical experience. Simply notice something astonishingly ordinary. These words are being known. This room is being known. The sound around you is being known. Even your thoughts are being known. What is it that knows them? That knowing. Did it need to be created? Did it begin when your name was spoken? Did it become older every birthday? Or has it remained quietly present while every experience came and went like clouds crossing an endless sky? Nisargadatta often said, "You are not what happens. You are that in which everything happens." Stay with that. Thoughts appear. They disappear. Emotions rise. They dissolve. The body changes from infancy to old age. Beliefs are abandoned. Relationships begin and end. Entire chapters of life vanish until they feel like stories that happened to someone else. Yet something has witnessed every one of those changes. It has never introduced itself. It has never demanded recognition. Like space, it allows everything to exist without becoming limited by anything it contains. Perhaps that is why every attempt to find yourself through achievement eventually feels incomplete. No accomplishment can reveal what was never absent. No future awakening can deliver what has quietly remained here before every search began. And if even this silent presence was never born into time, then another question appears naturally. How could something that never truly began ever come to an end? There may be one final illusion. It is quieter than all the others. It no longer says, "I have problems." It no longer insists, "I must control my life." Instead, it whispers something that sounds almost sacred. "I need to awaken." Look carefully. Who is it that wants enlightenment? Who is waiting for permanent peace? Who imagines that somewhere in the future there is a final moment where fear will never return, grief will never visit again, and every question will finally receive an answer? Perhaps this is the most sophisticated disguise the mind has ever created. The seeker. For years, it pursues truth with extraordinary determination. It reads, it meditates, it compares teachings, it collects insights, it searches for one experience capable of ending every search. Yet every answer becomes another beginning. Every realization creates another expectation. Every mountain climbed reveals another peak hidden beyond the clouds. The search quietly feeds upon itself. Jiddu Krishnamurti understood this with remarkable clarity. Truth is a pathless land. Sit with those words. If truth has no path, where exactly are you going? If there is no destination, what is all this movement trying to accomplish? Perhaps the search continues only because thought has imagined a distance that has never existed. Robert Adams often reminded his students, "You are already free. You only believe you are not." Not as encouragement, not as optimism, as a simple observation. Freedom does not arrive through accumulation. It cannot be earned by collecting spiritual experiences any more than the sky becomes larger, because another bird has crossed it. The mind measures progress. Reality does not. Wei Wu Wei carried this insight even further. Enlightenment is simply the absence of the illusion that there is anyone to be enlightened. That sentence can feel almost disappointing. After all, the mind has invested an entire lifetime becoming someone. Someone wiser, someone stronger, someone healed, someone finally complete. Then comes the unsettling possibility that the one trying to complete itself has never existed outside its own narration. Not as a physical body, not as a human life. Those are obvious. The illusion is psychological. It is the constant storyteller claiming ownership over every experience, arranging memories into a character called me, then spending decades trying to improve the very fiction it has written. Nisargadatta Maharaj expressed the same truth with extraordinary simplicity. Everything happens by itself. Neither the seeker nor the sought exists. Perhaps existence has always moved this way. Your heart has never practiced beating. The stars have never rehearsed shining. The seasons have never worried about arriving on time. Life has never required an identity to continue expressing itself. Only thought insists that someone must stand at the center directing the entire performance. And that insistence is exhausting. For years, perhaps decades, the mind offers the same bargain. One more achievement, one more understanding, one more relationship, one more answer, one more version of yourself. Then peace will finally come. But notice what actually happens. Every desire fulfilled creates another desire. Every certainty eventually dissolves. Every identity must be defended until defending it becomes a full-time occupation. Even happiness, when grasped tightly enough, quietly transforms into fear of losing it. Nothing the mind acquires has ever been capable of ending the movement of seeking. Perhaps because what is being sought has never been an object, never a future, never another experience. Only the silent presence that has remained here before every thought, during every search, and after every disappointment. Perhaps there was never a prison. Only endless circles drawn by thought upon an open field. Only a door imagined to be locked. Only a traveler wandering through landscapes created by memory, never noticing that the ground beneath every step had always been home. So before another thought appears, before memory rebuilds your story, before your name quietly returns, pause for just a moment, without referring to the past, without reaching toward the future, without trying to become wiser than you already are. What is missing? Right now? Don't answer. Let the question remain untouched. Perhaps nothing has ever been absent. Perhaps every problem began the moment thought insisted that this ordinary, immeasurable living moment was somehow incomplete. And perhaps the deepest freedom has never been something waiting at the end of the road. Perhaps it has always been what remained, when there was no one left to continue searching. If this video gave you something to reflect on, then it has already fulfilled its purpose. Simply watching, subscribing, and sharing these videos is already a huge way to support this channel. and I'm genuinely grateful for that. If you'd like to go one step further, consider becoming a member. You'll get access to more than 100 exclusive videos, and right now, there's even a free 1-month trial waiting for you. You can also support the channel with a super thanks. Every contribution, no matter the size, helps keep these conversations alive and allows more people to discover them. Thank you for being here. Truly.